podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Jira, an Atlassian product. Jira is the project management solution for teams planning, building, and launching great products. To learn more about Jira and try it free for 30 days, visit Atlassian.com/twit. And by 99 Designs, the world's largest online graphic design marketplace. 99 Designs connects businesses seeking quality, affordable designs with a community of over 200,000 graphic designers. Visit 99designs.com/AAA to receive a free design consultation. That's 99designs.com/AAA. Hello and welcome to All About Android, episode 117, recorded on Tuesday, July 9th, 2013. We are your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Ron Richards.
I'm Gina Trapani.
Boom. The three of us are
We're back. It's so good to be back in the chair.
In the saddle for another this week.
For this week. And we got a guest this week as well?
Well, yeah, so it's funny. It was shortly before the show started. We have Aaron Newcomb, first of all.
Welcome back,
joining
Aaron.
us once again.
Good to be here.
Lost and many previous episodes. And Aaron comes up to me and he's like, so it's strange being a guest because normally I'm filling in for people. So like, where should I sit on this episode?
Fun scheduling times. All right. No, it's good to have you on. We don't need a reason to have you on.
I'm always happy to be here. I think we came up with the color man. That's who I am today. I'm the color man.
Yeah, color man. There
You're
you
going
go.
to insert hilarious jokes and puns at every corner.
Little known facts, people don't always think about. I just kind of sneak those in whenever I can.
Whether or not they have anything to do with Android.
That's right.
If only he was here last week.
Yeah, well, that was my bad.
Yeah,
right?
I know. I'm sorry I missed the past 2 weeks, by the way. You guys talked about it on the show, but I was very busy at my day job. But I'm glad to be back because I missed talking about the Android stuff. I had to catch up. I had to see what was going on.
I know.
Yeah,
Lots changed in the last couple of weeks.
I know. A new version of Android coming out. And oh wait, was I just the one who read that?
You need to watch some past episodes of All About Android, Ron, and catch up. But this week we're going to be discussing the Android Master Key Boogeyman. Ooh, scary. More on Moto X, of course. Seems to be what we're talking about a lot these days. The continuing saga of Falcon Pro, because it just gets crazier and crazier. Yes. And Chad is pumping his fists. He's so excited.
I got some interesting news on that one.
Oh, okay. I look forward to that. That's a tease right there, ladies and gentlemen. And more. But first, before we dive into the news, George Byers writes, and many people actually wrote, hey, AAA, I was watching last week, and a guy emailed you looking for a Google Listen replacement, as I thought you would suggest Pocket Casts. Even better news for this guy, Pocket Casts will now import your Google Reader files. So they actually just pushed out an update. If you take a look at their changelog, it tells you all about their great update for Google Reader. Oh, wait a minute. What's that top line there? Fix for low-resolution twit images. Why would you do that to us, Leo, Jason? I thought we meant more to you than that. 80 by 80 pixel images in your MP3s. I'm gonna cry in the corner for a while. Man, I didn't.
It's nice to feel loved.
That was awesome.
Yeah, no, everybody and their dog tweeted me this morning with a picture of that.
That's funny.
The issue, which it was a total random issue that happened, I guess, last week. We're not aware of it. We are aware of it now, and it's been fixed going forward. So there you go.
That's very funny.
There you go, Pocket Cast.
It's nice to be noticed. It's always as if the things we don't want to be noticed get noticed very quickly and then amplified.
It's nice to have your name called out for a critical issue, that reaches thousands and thousands of people that use a very popular podcast app. You're right.
Right.
Ron.
Yeah, that's
really
great. Yeah, exactly. You can't buy that kind of publicity. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway, the other good part of that is, of course, the Google Reader files. So if you're a diehard Listen user that can't use it anymore because of the whole Google Reader shutdown thing, Pocket Cast has your back. There we go. All right.
Right on.
What do you think? News? Is it news time?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So it's that time of the quarter, that time of the year. I don't know, our favorite time to talk about the numbers, and boy, do we have a lot to celebrate about this week. It was big news.
Good day.
As Google published their platform distribution numbers that they took a sample over the past 2 weeks, and this just in, Jelly Bean surpasses gingerbread for the first time. Finally. So in looking at the latest usage charts, you can see that Jelly Bean 4.1.x and 4.2.x account for a little over 37% of the marketplace, while Ice Cream Sandwich, or 4.0, is at 23.3%. Honeycomb holding on with 0.1%. Talk about holding on. Gingerbread dips down to 34.1%. Froyo at 3.1, Eclair at 1.4, and Donut at 0.1. So gingerbread is starting to fade, and Jelly Bean is starting to dominate. So we finally, the point that we've all been waiting for has happened. We've hit critical mass with Jelly Bean, and now's a good time to announce a new OS.
Yeah, even if you combine Jelly Bean and Ice Cream Sandwich together, I mean, they're very similar.
It's more than 50.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 60% or something. So we'll just call it 60%. It's actually not, but yeah, it sounds good. But no, it's a really big percentage, and both Ice Cream Sandwich and Jelly Bean represent, somewhat similar design styles when you're designing your apps. Yep. So, I mean, I think this is really, really good to see this kind of number. And I'm wondering what is driving it. Do you guys have an idea is this Samsung or what's going on here?
I mean, well, it's within the past 2 weeks. So you look at the phones that are in the marketplace now, so Galaxy S4 has been out for a while. HTC One's been out for a while. I mean, is it just a matter of the new devices starting to gain traction? I think that's more what it is.
Or is it vendors, manufacturers
doing the updates? Could be that too.
I mean, or maybe a combination of both. Yeah. I would say it's probably a combination. But I was really surprised actually to see Jelly Bean at 32%. I mean, that's huge. I didn't expect it to be. I thought it would be like 16%, 16%, something like that.
My dad has a Galaxy S3 on Verizon. I think it's on Verizon. It might be on AT&T. But I want to say like late May, he was like, "Oh, I just got the update." So it could just be that they're starting to roll out to the older devices that qualify and that are compatible.
Yep.
So
Good news.
Google's not doing themselves any favors with this table, though. They really should have. They broke out Jelly Bean 4.1, 4.1, and 4.2, but they didn't break out any of the other desserts. If they had combined API 16 and 17, it would have been more obvious that Jelly Bean has surpassed gingerbread. But you have to do the addition, the 32% plus the 5%, which is interesting. I mean, it's honest. I like that, but it's also like just I feel like anybody else would have just combined those numbers and been like, hey, look.
Yeah, well, it's a Google statistician, so I'm not surprised that they're making you work for it.
It's the Google way. Yeah, I mean, as a marketing person, I'm looking at this saying like, why didn't you just lump all these other ones into other? Right. Because
anything under 5,
anything you don't want to highlight, right? You mark it under other, and then you say, oh, look, it's Jelly Bean and Ice Cream Sandwich, and you don't really call out honeycomb and the rest, but
honeycomb's important. Honeycomb.
It's a good cereal, but
well, that's true. At least there's that.
These are for devices that visited the Play Store in the last 2 weeks, right? So I feel like that's a good argument for new devices driving these numbers, right? Because you get a new device, you're going to go to the Play Store and download a bunch of apps. Versus kind of an old device where you might not go to the Play Store, or regular users might not go to the Play Store that often. So I think this is probably new devices driving these numbers more than anything. But I have a question for Ron about these numbers. So Ron, you've always talked about how you think that like companies should never develop for one platform or the other. Like you've always said that you shouldn't just launch an app on iOS. You should do it to both Android and iOS. How would you feel about launching an app that was Android 4.1 and above, or 4.0 and above?
I'm okay with that. I'm totally cool with it.
You're okay with that?
Well, because if you look at it, if going by these numbers, it's got to be Ice Cream Sandwich or up. That's basically what it is. Because what you want to do, and Gina, and Aaron, from our collective development experience, we used to run into this. We do run into this on the web, which is what browsers do you design for? And I always go back to look at the usage charts and I remember back in the day years ago, it's like when we finally got the green light to abandon Netscape 4.0 because it was just so antiquated and the number of users were using it were so low. You got to look for what's critical mass.
Right.
I don't want to worry about backwards compatibility with my application several versions back to help laggards. I would want the cutting edge people, the people who are up to date, and also what I said earlier, the critical mass, the mass audience. So in this case, looking at ice cream sandwich and jelly bean, that's nearly 60% of your audience. Focus on that.
Yeah, and I've even seen people like cut off. Like there's even applications out there that have several versions. Like here's one that we're not really developing anymore. It's for gingerbread and less. Use it. We're only going to do critical bug fixes on it. That's it. And then here's the standard version, which is ice cream sandwich and up or whatever. Yep. So I've seen people do that, take that approach too, especially for older apps where they start developing. Even back on Froyo, for example, and then it just gets to a point where it's like we don't have resources to keep updating this stuff for every version every time. So we'll just kind of like draw a line in the sand. We're not going to really worry about this older stuff. We're going to concentrate on the newer stuff, and that's a good approach. It's a valid approach, I think.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because that way you don't leave people hanging, right? I mean, there's still, I love this app. Well, you can still run it. It's just not going to have the latest and greatest stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's easy.
Well, in other news, the scary kind of news, if headlines are successful in saying things like Android security flaw affects 99% of phones, that probably means you. Of course, researchers are saying that from Blue Box Labs. They discovered a vulnerability months ago, I believe, affecting all unpatched devices running 1.6 and above. That's a lot of devices.
It's a lot of devices. Going by this chart, we can see.
Yeah, exactly. If you've never checked off the unknown sources box on your device, I'm sure most of us probably have here, but a lot of just regular users of Android probably haven't. You are free and clear. You don't have much to worry about there. If you have and you've downloaded an affected APK, it could theoretically give bad guys a backdoor into your device, like a full backdoor, full control, and be completely undetected, even to Google's, I believe can't remember if it's even detected by the bouncer. Or I think bouncer would actually catch this.
It should.
The difference is that you're not going to get these affected APKs through the Play Store because bouncer is going to catch this, right? And this is all thanks to an inherited cryptographic key that's tied to these apps. So to kind of put this into certain terms, say you have a messaging app, right? That messaging app has a certain key associated with it. Bad guys can take that app, insert the bad code into it, and re-offer that APK out in a number of different ways, through a bad app store, through just offering it in a forum or whatever. It will still retain that cryptographic key that's tied to it, but it'll have that kind of bad code also underneath, which is why it ends up being kind of more or less undetected. So if you're not installing these APKs from untrusted sources, you have little to worry about here. Blue Box handed this info over to the Open Handset Alliance back in February. And since then, the Samsung Galaxy S4 with TouchWiz, so just the TouchWiz version of that phone, has this patch. So, Aaron, you're in the clear.
Woohoo!
You're good. CyanogenMod has announced that their nightlies, starting I think 2 days ago, have this patch. So if you're rooted and running CyanogenMod, you're patched and you're okay there. And Google has released the code to address the issue to OEMs. So now it's kind of in their hands to correct it, which doesn't give a lot of people very much hope that you're going to see it anytime soon, but maybe it's a big enough issue that you will. Google has also actually addressed the issue server side in Google Play, as I said earlier, so you're good there. So really, I think, these stories, they happen regularly. We talk about them every once in a while. Don't try and talk about every single one because the same rules kind of apply when you're talking about this kind of stuff. Stick to Play. Be careful if you're using unknown sources, and best option is probably just to not do that and not install APKs from places that you don't understand or don't trust. Don't download from shady places. Don't pirate your apps, because those are the places that these kinds of things are going to happen.
I feel like you need some sort of like 1940s World War II theme, telling sailors to play safe, avoid risky behavior. But that's really what it boils down to. It's like, don't download apps from people you don't know. That's the analogy there. Is that And the first thing I do when I get a phone is I tap that. I turn that off because for us, we get APKs from developers and things, people I trust. I'm not just installing apps willy-nilly that I download off of 4chan and stuff like that. Like you got to be careful.
Wait a minute, we can't trust 4chan?
No. I hate to break it to you, man.
XDA?
Well, that's the thing. XDA. I mean, like
XDA is pretty safe.
But is it? I mean,
because here's the thing, right?
It's a forum.
Yeah,
it's a forum.
Public.
But like as soon as something gets, I've noticed this on a number of occasions. As soon as something gets uploaded to XDA, developers are testing it. They know whether it's good or bad, and so you'll see the post. Oh, here's my Santa Claus app. Please download it. It'll give you lots of presents, right? And so you say, oh, that sounds good. You click on it, but then you see even before that, you notice the next post down is this is bad. Don't click on it. And then before you know it, that thread is gone anyway.
Community vetting.
Right.
Outside.
So I would trust XDA. Yeah,
I mean, it's the same argument I use with open source software, right? Is that you have so many hands in the pie, so to speak, that things like that get caught right away, as opposed to a closed group of people where things get left untouched for a long time. When you have many eyes looking at something, things get caught. So I generally trust XDA, but I do a little bit of research.
Yeah. Click through, read the comments.
Click through, read the comments,
get a sense of what they're saying.
Doesn't it work? And plus, I know what I'm doing, so I know how to rebuild my phone from scratch. And if something goes wrong, I've got things backed up. Not everybody does. So like you said, the safest thing is just use the Google Play Store, or if you have a Kindle device, use the Kindle Store.
I mean, no offense to our friend who did the Is It Time for AAA app, but I downloaded that from the Google Play Store.
Right.
He didn't send us an APK. Like there's a good path to go through,
right.
And you got to wonder what the impact is for Amazon or GetJar or some of these other stores. Yeah. And the thing is that you got to hope that Amazon is vetting this stuff as well. I mean, I don't know what could they be using the same techniques Google is using to vet the apps before they go up? I gotta think Amazon is.
I'm sure they are. I think those and maybe Gina knows about this more than I do, but I'm sure that those teams, even though they're somewhat competing, those teams generally talk to each other, especially about stuff like this. And it's like, we found this big bug, or it gets posted on a developer forum somewhere. Hey, there's this big bug, and then the folks over at Amazon grab that and fix their stuff too. It's have we ever heard that antagonistic that they would not share this information?
Yeah, I mean, I've never actually heard anyone at Google or Amazon posit a negative opinion towards one or the other. I mean, Amazon having an app store, isn't that kind of the fruition of Google's dream of Android as an open marketplace? It's validating what they want to do as a platform. So of course they're integrating and talking, and I would imagine that they're sharing this information. GetJar, on the other hand, I could see them not being invited to the table. I don't know. Something about them, but maybe. And
there is a little bit of scanning going on as well for APKs that you install on your device. I've had times recently, and I'm not sure if this is a 4.2 update or what it is, where the first, when I reflashed CM 10.1, I wiped my phone a few weeks ago and started from scratch. The first time I unchecked unknown and installed an APK that was outside of the store, it asked me, do you want us to scan your APKs for the viruses and bad guys and whatever? So there is an extension of Bouncer going on outside of the Play Store. I think that's actually pretty cool, and probably not a lot of people know about that. I think it is limited to 4.2 there, or I could be wrong.
Well, again, you got a majority of the users then.
Well,
hopefully
a decent amount of them, for sure. So, anyways, and just real quick, right before the show started, Blue Box Security, the group behind exposing this and kind of getting all the publicity for it, released a scanner that you can install on your device.
Give it up for Phil for the great headline.
I know, yeah.
That's a great headline.
I mean, Android Central is totally on the, okay, this is all pure FUD, which to a large degree it is. So you probably don't need to install this necessarily. All it's going to do is point out probably the obvious, is that yes, you are open to it. The other side to that is you'd have to do a lot of other things wrong for it to really matter. Right. So just take care of yourselves out there, will you?
Exactly. Be safe. Mm-hmm. Make good decisions.
Yeah.
Make good choices.
Yeah, make good choices. It's the best device you can get.
There you go. Well, thank you, Chad.
It's the music for the make good choices.
Protect yourself, sellers.
Don't let the Reds win. Make good choices. How did you have that on cue?
Well, you asked for it, so I got it on cue.
Amazing.
Chad's that awesome.
He is that awesome.
And Gina, what do we know about Android developers?
Well, Google's finding out quite a bit about what Android developers want. Google just issued their apparently annual. I'm an Android developer, but the first time I've seen this developer survey, the July 2013 developer survey. It's about a 15 to 20 minute questionnaire in Google Forms, just asking developers, how they're feeling what's going on, what's difficult about building Android apps, how their experience with the Play Store has been, if they think that the tools, that Eclipse and Android Studio are doing the job for them, if they're concentrating on monetization or design. Lots of questions, and it really it's aimed toward indie developers or developers who are working in a big shop with a big team, and it's kind of nice to see. Interesting. I ran through the survey and I skipped some sections that didn't apply to me because you can do that, but it was interesting to see how the survey really focused on design and monetization. A lot of questions about design. Did developers feel like the tools provided were good enough to design beautiful apps? Was the sample code good enough? Were the layout makers good enough? And then a lot of questions about monetization. What were developers doing to promote their apps? Was the revenue as good or better than other app stores, quote unquote, if they develop for other app stores? So kind of interesting that Google's collecting this data. I guess 5,000 developers responded last year, and there'll probably be more this year.
Well, it's you can obviously ascertain what Google's interested in terms of they want people building apps and then monetizing them. So, I'll be curious to see what the results of this will yield. What was last year's as focused? Do you remember anything about last year's? Was last year's as focused on this stuff?
I didn't take last year's and I couldn't find it, so I'm not sure if it was as focused on those things, on design and monetization as this year.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Probably. I mean, but it does seem like the post Jelly Bean world, Google has been particularly focused on design. Oh, and a lot about tablet optimization as well. Have you tablet optimized? Why haven't you? If you
Why
did,
haven't you done
it?
Guilt people into tablet design. Just like, come on, why haven't you done it yet? Come on. When are you gonna do it? Are you going to do it? We all want you to.
I mean, that was basically Google I/O. Like, you really want to optimize for tablets. Really, you do.
Well, I was just going to say that about this survey. It's interesting that it's coming, like a month and a half, 2 months after Google I/O? So like, have people had enough time with the new stuff? Like, do they feel as if everyone's kind of made a decision about the new direction of Android and they're using this to now plan the next year, maybe?
Yeah, the timing is weird. I mean, I can see that the timing kind of makes sense in that Android Studio was released, or at least a preview of it, so at least developers have had a month or two with Android Studio. There were some questions about Android Studio, but not real detailed. But yeah, I agree. I don't know why they wouldn't have issued this survey at I/O.
Yeah.
It seems like you would have had everybody on site there. There would have been an easier way. It would have been like, fill this out and get some swag on the second floor. It feels like, for a T-shirt, they would have gotten tons of responses.
Although also, is it fill this out and now you've got your pre-selected list for I/O next year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who
True.
knows what crazy algorithm they're using to give those tickets, to sell those tickets.
That's true.
So Gina, last week on Twig, you shared a pretty great tip, and I have to say I looked into it, but I want to hear kind of your take on this tip from Lifehacker, because it was just great.
Yes. So I do a tip on This Week in Google on Wednesdays, and I'll admit I was in a little bit. I was scrambling last week, and so otherwise I would have mentioned this on AAA. But this is a tip to speed up Google searches from the Google search box on your phone. So I'm using a crack screen Galaxy Nexus, which I got to tell you is just dog slow at this point. My HTC One cannot get here fast enough. And one of the things that's really slow is running a Google search from the home screen. So just tapping on the Google search box and typing in the keywords and just kind of waiting for the keyboard to catch up, or for Google Now to summon all its cards. It's just kind of painful. It's just painful and it's kind of slow. And so Lifehacker had this tip that if you disabled, and this is kind of a proceed with caution, do at your own risk, like things may misbehave kind of tip. So take it with a grain of salt. But if you go into your apps list and basically force stop this internal Android app called Search Applications Provider, which apparently was not optimized as well as it should have been, that things would speed up. And completely subjective experience was that it did speed things up for me on my on my Galaxy Nexus, which is running the latest version of Jelly Bean. So I see you put a note here, Jason. Is there another way to do this?
Well, yeah. So there is that way, and actually, in some of the comments on that page, some people shared something which I had never thought of doing. I've experienced that slowdown too, and almost to the point to where it was getting to the point where, it was just like, I don't want to launch into this because it would just be quicker for me to flip open the laptop or whatever and type into the search than wait for the search field to, catch up with me and everything. What you can do here, I'll go ahead on my phone. You should have it, Chad. Go into Google now. First of all, Jason Applebaum's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Applebaum.
Many-time guest on the show. There we go. So let's see here. So if we go to the bottom, go to settings, go into phone search. Phone search has a list of all the things that it searches. And some of the things that it does by default are apps, browser. It has like all of these predetermined, preset things that are already on. When I disabled them and just kept them to, for me, Chrome, People, and Play Music would be the things that I'd actually really care about searching. It really seemed to speed it up. I'm not sure if it's the same amount of speed, but I mean, it really just kind of kicked it right into the speed that I was looking for. It made a noticeable difference for me right away. So
yeah, there's a bunch of these I can uncheck.
Yeah, do you really need to search through, all of your apps through that? Is that even how you use the search box? Maybe it's, that's never how I use the search box to search the apps on my phone. So uncheck the things you don't need. That'll speed up, in theory, and it seemed to for me, the responsiveness of that search box. I'm not sure if it's tackling the same issue, like if they're doing the same thing by deactivating the app versus doing this. Yeah, but it certainly speeds it up for me.
It's interesting, because I just checked mine, and it was just searching browser, apps, and my phone. That's all I had, but then I haven't really noticed any slowdown, so maybe I'd already had it optimized, because I've already been through the Google Now settings like a ton. But that's interesting.
So check it out. That might help you.
It seems like a much more legitimate way to handle it than for stopping an internal system app. It's like Jason's suggestion.
Well, I was totally going to do it while I was watching Twig. I was like, oh, I'm doing that because this is such an issue for me. But when I saw that, I thought I'd try it out first, and it's totally made a difference for me.
Do you guys use? Is that just for the Google search bar that you use it? It's not for Chrome too, right? Like if I go into Chrome, it's just searching the internet, right? I mean, it's not searching all my apps and stuff.
Yeah, no,
there's no crossover there. It's just for that thing. So do you guys use that a lot? I don't use
Google Now.
I don't use the bar in my phone. I almost always go to Chrome and then do a search from there.
That's a good point. I always go to Chrome too.
Yeah, it's fixed to the home screen, so I do it just because it's there.
It's one less step.
Yeah,
I pulled
like a true programmer.
I pulled it off my home screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. I don't use it.
Interesting.
Well, no, you have it on your home screen.
It's fixed.
Oh my God, it's totally right there. I didn't even just look at it. I just never used
still
it.
There.
I've completely blocked above the power bar. Above the power bar, I just didn't even look at it because it's see-through.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I've kind of gone back and forth, and I would do the search from Chrome because the Google Now search would take so long.
Right.
But kind of kicking that to the curb, it's really helped because sometimes I open Chrome and it loads up previous pages, and that takes a while, and so it's not instant search the way I want when I want to search something right now.
Right.
So I actually find now, especially, that it's faster doing it through the bar than it is.
I never used that. I totally forgot it was there. I totally go to Chrome. I do the same thing. Is that just like because we're old school and that's just
I guess,
like
I just always open up Chrome first.
Yeah.
The only thing I do use it for, I've got it on another page, like one of my 5 pages, right? It's like buried somewhere. The only thing I do use it for is when I want to do a voice search, because the voice button's there. So I click on voice and I'm like, navigate to San Francisco, and it does that. That's the only thing I use it for.
It's so funny for voice. I'll totally open the Google Now app. Oh my God, I'm an awful user. I open the Google Now app and then hit the mic. Wow, you just saved me some efficiency, some steps there.
Oh, real quick before we move on, another thing that'll speed it up is deactivating the hot word. So you know how when you open it up and you say Google and then boop, search for blah blah blah. If you deactivate the option, and I think it's in the voice settings for detecting that hot word, that kind of takes away some of the processing that your phone has to do every time you hit on the search bar, and that speeds it up as well.
Can you change that word?
No, I think it's just Google.
Yeah, it's hot word. Yeah, it's hot word detection. Say Google. You can't change it.
Ooh, I hadn't
even been in.
I didn't even realize there's a block offensive words. Hide recognized offensive voice results. Turn that off.
Yeah,
what's the fun in that?
You swear at your phone
all the time.
Like a sailor. Yeah.
That's why I wanted to change it.
Clearly, Android Central turned that off.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. All right. Well, there's some tips on speeding things up. I thought it was a great tip. Thank you, Gina, for that.
No problem. Thank you for the addendum.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a quick break and thank one of our sponsors for today's episode, a new sponsor for All About Android, and we thank you guys for coming on board. Atlassian, they're the folks that bring you Jira. What is Jira? Jira is one of the world's most powerful and customizable issue and project management systems. It actually captures and organizes your workflow easily so you can prioritize and take action on what's important. And you can stay up to date with all of that activity that's going on around you. Easily capture, organize, and prioritize those issues, the issues of your team, tasks, features, bugs, all of that stuff. You can give your team a simple, intuitive interface for collaborating with each other in real time. It seamlessly integrates your planning documents, your backlog, your issues, and your code repository all in one single platform. You can set up any business process, pretty much anything that you can imagine, so your team works the way they want. And you can define your own issue types to track the information that really matters most to you and your team. You can also stay in the loop with notifications, things like email, chat, app mentions, RSS. You can monitor streams of activity or self-updating reports and dashboards so you're always in the know. Keeps you close to that information, and that's really important. Expand infinitely in any direction with hundreds of Jira add-ons, including test management, time tracking, project management, hundreds of other uses, just a ton in there. And if your issues involve code, Jira actually ties everything together from an initial planning doc, the files, the change sets in your code repository, all the way through to deployment. Now, Jira's integration with Git allows teams to follow their code from development all the way through delivery on one system, and you can even build onto Jira yourself with the power of Atlassian's REST APIs. Jira is a flexible and simple enough system for a 5-person startup, but powerful and reliable enough for a 100,000-person enterprise. So no matter your size, it's very, very flexible for you, and is used by over 20,000 companies, including 70% of the Fortune 100 and NASA. So there you go. Jira sits at the heart of Atlassian's offerings for managing your entire application development process from concept to launch. So if this sounds like something that's answering a call that you have, go to Atlassian.com/twit. That's Atlassian, Atlassian.com/twit for more information on Jira. Monthly plans actually start at $10 a month for up to 10 users. But you can try it free for 30 days. Remember Atlassian.com/twit and select Jira. And we thank Atlassian for your support of All About Android and the Twit Network. It's great having you guys on board.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Sweet.
All right, let's jump into hardware. And what a hardware section to jump into. We have, okay, so I guess last week we had the official Moto X kind of, I don't know, ad.
Unveiling.
Becomes a reality.
Unveiling,
Yeah.
to kind of parse out. The only other official thing that we really have right now is that Motorola posted a sign-up page for more information about the device. If you think you're really interested in the Moto X, go to the page and sign up for it. I got to tell you though, my experience with these sign up for more information things never seem to give you the information first.
Nope.
I always read about it elsewhere and then 2 days later get the email.
Then you get the email.
Yeah.
Or you get a leak, and then what you get confirms the leak.
Yeah, totally.
And then you're on a mailing list.
There you go.
Yep.
So
There you
Yay.
go. Yay, marketing.
now all the rumory stuff that doesn't put you on a mailing list, but it's just kind of fun to talk about. Purported cases in a ton of colors. I think some of the sites are saying as much as 30 different kind of case colors, front and back, are appearing and kind of leaking out there. We've seen some photos of those. There's a few. Boy, they are bright.
That is. It looks like iOS 7.
So when it's
Gina got that joke.
totally.
That was a
That
joke
took me a
bomb.
second.
That was. They're flat too. Anyway.
So if colors of your cases is a big deal to you, it looks anyways that's going to be a big part of the customization aspect of Moto X. This I think is actually really, really interesting. Clear pixel camera technology. Kodak created this, called it panchromatic pixel technology back when they created it years ago. Likely it will be integrated into the Moto X thanks to a bunch of Kodak patents that Google bought last year. And this actually enhances low light photos while still keeping pixel count high. So aside from the 1X that kind of does the the ultra pixels thing and kind of you have your megapixel count is low, this would do allow you to have more megapixels if that's important to you. Is done by utilizing not only standard pixels, I think it's RGB, but also a fourth clear pixel. And that clear pixel takes in all wavelengths of visible light, not just 3 colors.
That just sounds so marketing buzzword. It's like we've got a fourth pixel, a clear pixel.
And we call it the ultra pixel.
We're calling it ultra pixel.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Same
it's
thing,
like,
right?
This pixel has all colors, yet it's clear. Yeah, no, but I understand the technology. It's just funny how they're...
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
There's actually, Chad, if you check out the Android and Me link for Moto X to feature clear pixel, I think it gives a before and after of the Kodak version.
If this is real, that's a huge improvement.
Wow. Yeah, so these are 2 different pictures taken, one obviously at the top in low light situation.
Oh man, I hate those. I hate the noise.
They get all grainy.
I hate the noise.
Yeah.
Images.
And then the bottom one without.
See, honestly, the bottom one is better. It's still not that great, but it's better.
Low light.
It does look better. Look at that.
Light,
When you zoom out, it looks from a distance, it looks way better.
Totally.
Yeah. Look at the pixel organization there. That's fascinating. There's your clear pixel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very cool.
There it is.
It's 5 clear pixels in the bottom image.
Yeah, look at that.
No, 6, sorry.
Yeah.
No, 8.
8.
Ooh.
8.
Wow.
Sweet. So that sounds very intriguing. Also in the Moto X, gesture control to activate the camera.
Cool.
Among other things, we've kind of heard
Work
about
for Samsung.
a little
Works
bit
for
of
this.
that.
Yeah.
Does it work? I mean,
is there? I don't know.
I don't know.
This camera thing sounds a little bit like the Lytro. Do you guys remember the Lytro?
Oh yeah, the shifting perspective.
Yeah, it's a little. I mean, it sounds a little bit like that. Like we just capture everything, and then you can change it. Kind of on the fly, so to speak.
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit. I know it's different technology, but it sounds like when I read about it, it sounded a little bit like Lytro.
Yeah.
That would be.
It is reminiscent.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, do you guys think we'll be able to capture enough pixels that it won't matter? Like just capture everything, and then we'll just do it all in software.
It's never going to be enough.
There you
You're
go.
always going to want to zoom in closer. You're always wanting to zoom in closer and get more detail, right? Especially like from far away and dark. I just feel like there's the infinite number of situations where you're going to want more pixels and clearer. I don't know. I'm not a photographer, but that's my hunch.
Yeah. And I think photographers, I mean, I don't know any serious photographers that use phones for their photography anyway, but, I just think like, what if you could just capture enough that you could zoom in far enough? Like I've already noticed a big difference on my S4 as opposed to the Galaxy Nexus in the camera technology is that I can take a picture and I can crop it down a lot further than I used to be able to with the Galaxy Nexus without looking grainy. So I know we always say it's not always about how many megapixels it has, but that's one advantage of having more megapixels is that, you can zoom in on things digitally and not have it look like,
Yeah.
Minecraft.
But I don't say Minecraft.
Yeah,
Okay? Chad
Chad
just woke up.
Minecraft?
But I think Gina's right. I mean, I'm not a photographer, and I'm like an awful photographer. Actually, give me the best camera, and I'll still make it look awful. But I imagine that it would be never enough. Like whatever plateau we reach, it's going to be like, well, no, we want more. We want, So
Right.
Yeah.
4K.
Yeah, exactly.
4K on a phone. Wow. I'm sure it'll happen someday. More Moto X stuff. Pure Android experience with speedy updates direct from Google. Kind of assumed most of that, I guess, but it's nice to kind of read that if this is to be believed. Always on system with proprietary dedicated natural language processor that's doing things like audio sensor, noise estimators, cancellation, and speech recognition. Always on.
Always
So
on.
that could go either
Always
way.
using your battery.
Yeah,
Always
unless they've unless this proprietary processor is just really efficient at it. I don't know. 300-ish price point.
That's about
$300.
That's what I would expect.
Kind of what you would expect.
Yep.
And there's this whole July 11th thing. We've heard about this, at least here at Twit. We especially have, but it's been blowing up in the news the past 3 or 4 days. That this guy named Leo Laporte, maybe you've heard of him, on this show called This Week in Google. Maybe you've heard of it, right, Gina?
I think I heard something about that.
Vaguely.
Mentioned something about an event that Guy Kawasaki at Motorola invited his close friends, in air quotes, to. And Leo is kind of positing that it's probably about the Moto X. Google is basically saying, nope, there's not going to be any product announcement there. I'm just very curious to know what this kind of invitation is all about.
Yep.
And whether this is just a ruse.
Maybe he's just having a barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sad.
Guy knows a lot of people. He's got a lot of friends. It's summer,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're just all going to leap off the end of a pier into a lake.
Just like that photo. Yeah. There you go.
Just like in the photo. Yeah. In the shape of an X.
Yeah, there you go. There on the left will be Leo, and on the right will be Guy.
Like the logo.
That's how I jump into a lake, isn't it? How you guys jump into a lake?
Oh, yeah, every time.
Yeah.
Actually, ironically enough, my daughter does jump in like that.
The X?
Yeah, she does the X every time because she can't dive, so she just wants to make it as exciting as possible.
There should be a third person there doing a cannonball.
Right. Just saying.
That might be represented.
Just saying.
Who doesn't want to see a room full of tech journalists jumping into a lake in there and they're
Robert Scoble's going to be right in the middle of that, right? I mean,
I was waiting for that one.
Exactly. Yeah,
I was waiting for that.
Sorry, Robert.
So there we go. That's what we do or possibly do not know about the Moto X. It's always fun to talk about these things. In other Motorola news, or maybe this is the same news.
Can't stop talking Moto.
Maybe this is the same news. If you've been dying for a Kevlar-covered bat phone, you're in luck. The Droid Ultra press photos of the Droid Ultra have been leaked, right? So it hasn't been officially announced, but press photos have been leaked, and all we really know about it is that it's sort of covered in this carbon fiber, I guess Kevlar, or the back is Kevlar material. So Moto is bringing a few droids are coming our way. We got the Droid Max, the Droid Mini, and the Droid Ultra. And so the Droid Ultra these are the images that got leaked, and we don't really know much about the Ultra except for what it looks like. These images appear to have come from Motorola with not even really a logo on the front. But it's just kind of thin. It doesn't have a whole lot of branding on the back. Just kind of the Moto bat wings, and apparently it has a 10 megapixel RGBC camera.
That would be the same thing that we were talking about.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. Extra sensors that see that clear pixel exactly. That gives you better picture. So there you go. The Droid Ultra. It's very droidy, right? It's that whole sort of like dark dystopian future design.
And it's for the Android enthusiast in your life that also likes carbon fiber.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all of them.
Exactly.
All of them.
I just watched Batman Begins, and it's like this is the phone that Batman.
Bruce Wayne. Is it in the second movie, The Dark Knight, when all the phones became like cameras and they made the big panel? Yeah, that's what it was. This phone. That's what did it.
It was this phone, exactly.
Yeah.
You got the bat wings and the Kevlar. You're good to go with this phone.
Feels like remnant inventory to me. This is the last of like the old school Motorola. Like, well, we
got these cases.
We gotta put it out, I guess.
What are we gonna do with the carbon fiber department? Oh well, let's just put this phone.
We've got all this carbon fiber laying around. What are we gonna do with it?
Oh, just the conversations at Motorola. Anyway, so I've got some distressing news for everybody. In case you haven't been looking at your calendar or not aware of what time of year it is, we're halfway through the year, and that means that we're on the eve of starting to get product announcements related to the holidays.
That is distressing.
And this is the beginning of that wave, as we're starting to get rumors now from the Amazon camp about a refresh of the Amazon Kindle Fire line, which is rumored to be coming out in the fall. And the rumors are that we're going to see a refreshed 7-inch Kindle Fire with an increased resolution up to 1280 by 800 from the previous iteration at 1024 by 600. We're also going to see a new 7-inch Kindle Fire HD with an increased resolution of 1920 by 1200, and a larger Kindle Fire at 8.9 inches Kindle Fire HD with a resolution of 2560 by 1600. Of course, these are all rumors, so who knows if these are actually true or not. But it makes sense that Amazon will be prepping a new line of Kindle Fires just in time for your holiday shopping. So
I saw an ad yesterday for Kindle Fire, Kindle Fire HD. Actually, I was like getting my oil change or something. They have a TV up there, and it's like Kindle Fire.
Yeah.
So that's not these though. These aren't out yet.
No, these aren't out yet. These are.
They're just trying to get rid of their old inventory too.
Probably.
Apparently, so they're like
probably.
commercials.
Back to school.
Back
to school time.
Yeah.
But then also, interestingly enough, for those of you who do own an Amazon Kindle Fire, there are some rumors that Amazon has quietly been testing streaming Flash videos to Kindle Fire owners. They've been testing what they hope is going to be a better way to watch Flash video content on your mobile device. Since February, some Kindle Fire users have had an option to use an experimental streaming viewer while watching video on NBC, CBS, and Fox.com. And it's curious that this might be related to the Amazon Kindle Fire Silk browser, which puts content kind of in the cloud and does kind of like a proxy preloading. So you got to wonder, are they using Flash to kind of preload videos? Everyone's going to be watching that Saturday Night Live sketch, so let's get the video up in our little cloud, cache it, and then we'll serve it to you via Flash. That much better. A little distressed to hear that's Flash and not HTML5. It's a little distressing to me as an HTML5 convert, but hey, they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
I mean, the tide has turned on Flash at this point. I don't.
Yeah.
I think I expected to miss it once I, went full Chrome in my.
Oh no!
On my
What are you gonna miss? You're gonna miss the awful restaurant websites and the inability to resize accurately or copy text or images from it.
That sucks, and the experience often sucks. I think what I thought I was gonna miss was the not having that choice to do it when in a pinch I might need to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that never happens.
Yeah.
That really never happens.
I cannot think. Every day I wake up in a Flash-free world, and I can't. And
the sun is shining.
Exactly. Yeah. And I can't think of anything. Or I'm like, oh man, this would be better if it was Flash. Seriously, think about it.
That's true. You don't want to go back, do you?
I can't tell you in the early 2000s how many hours I spent optimizing Flash banners for jobs, or like, they're just the worst. Yeah. Passing variables into a Swift. That's not good.
One more thing, as long as we're on the topic of hardware, did you guys see the rumors? It's not in the rundown, but did you guys see the rumors about the Nexus 7 as well? Ooh. I should have thrown that in here.
Oh, about the price drop, right?
The price drop at all the outlets, right? So the outlets are dropping prices. I think you can get a Nexus 7 for it's down to 160 something at some stores right now. And so the theory is that this is to get rid of all that inventory so that a new Nexus 7, which has been rumored, you guys have probably talked about that in the past, can be brought out. So again, I guess the hardware section is all about inventory this week, but I just wanted to throw that in there in case people missed that.
Yeah, good to know, because I mean we are kind of on the edge of what has to be an impending 4.3 release. You have to imagine if a Nexus 7, which is already over a year old and a successful tablet, that they're gearing up for a follow-up to that. That's got to happen sometime soon.
Yep.
They're probably both going to combine in some way, would be my guess. So yeah, could be right. Could be close.
Stay tuned.
Could the Nexus 7 successor be a Motorola tablet unveiled tomorrow at a Guy Kawasaki thing?
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Waterproof, so you could jump into a lake with it.
Yes.
Totally random. I was at the San Diego County Fair and walked past a tent. And I actually posted a picture of this tent through glass to my Google Plus profile. It was Android tablets discounted to $99.
Oh yes.
Wow. Android 4.0, 7. It was like these no-name Android tablets. It was awesome with Angry Birds pre-installed, apparently. Yeah. Or maybe they were just saying, hey, you can play Angry Birds on this thing. But it just made me laugh.
They were proudly touting its it's resistive touch screen.
Right. That's just what I was going to say too.
Resistive. That's fantastic.
Resistive.
It
is
capacitive.
Yeah. All right. Well, then
look at that. Look at that cyborg Android under the $99. Look at that. That's beefy.
Terminator. Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway.
I don't know, you should have got one of those for business or social networking, Gina.
I should have. You're right.
That's fantastic. Fair special.
There we
go. And
for children, business, social networking.
It's your new babysitter. And it's only $99.
That's how. Look at what's with the camcorder.
Look at horrible camcorder.
What is that camcorder there?
It's like a ZR60
right below an HD logo.
Oh man!
It's like it takes video. Look.
I love it.
See?
If this doesn't show acceptance by society for Google, then I don't know what will. So there you go. That's a great find.
I'm sure a lot of people were really happy with those.
But wait a minute, paintball tickets are $5?
Yeah.
What?
Whoa! It's the best county fair ever.
Oh man.
All right. Yeah, see? Paintball tickets, $5. That dude's totally going to go play paintball.
Oh, yeah. He's
Look at that guy. Completely ignoring the amazing deal right behind him.
What structure is that Android tablet booth made out of? You see it's like wood?
Little foam. Foam.
No, but do you see below it? Those look like wood bedposts, right?
Yeah, it is. They're like rails.
That's like a table.
Yeah. Table legs.
Interesting.
Gina, I'm coming down to San Diego next time there's a county fair. It looks like they have good times there.
You're gonna be down for Comic-Con. You will have just missed it. Next year.
Buy all your friends an awesome tablet.
Yeah, I should. You can play Angry Birds.
At $100.
Who doesn't want to play Angry Birds and watch HD video? All right, so on to the email. I'm going to read this email from Jason M., who wrote in to let us know, in reference to your discussion about Google+, I think perhaps you're mistaken that the majority of activity is connected only to Google-related topics. The issue here is that Google+ seems to be geared towards single-topic communities. There are huge communities centered around other subjects like photography, role-playing games, writing, and more, but I've seen very little crossover between those groups. My best guess is that Google+, not allowing users to divide up subject matter from individuals, seems to force users to organize people to one group or another, which in turn leads to posts unrelated to that subject getting lost in the stream. And that is why people such as yourselves that are so connected to Android and Google in general largely only see responses on Google-related posts. I'm willing to bet that Ron probably gets plenty of responses on his comic-related posts along with his Android-related ones because he's promoted himself very much in both groups.
And what would you say to that?
Yes, I would say that is accurate. I agree with this email 100%.
Yeah,
I think that
was a good way to kind of describe it. We had a lot of people write in about our totally before we started got into the meat of the show, wishing Google Plus a happy 2-year birthday, and kind of talking about why we only our Google and Android things seem to kind of get any traction. But it makes perfect sense. The people that are following, well, I mean, I can only use myself as an example. Me are probably following me because of this show by large degree.
It is fine-tuned to interests, and then it filters out what you're interested in versus based on who you follow. That's to the letter. So, but the tough thing is that there's not a lot of crossover.
That's kind of discouraging though at the same time, because I as a person would like to share other things that have nothing to do with that. But the way it's set up is that my audience, I hate to use that word, but the audience that through Google Plus just wants the Google and Android stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's why I feel bad sometimes, because when I post comic related stuff, I'm like, oh, I hope my Android people aren't getting too upset. But the comic people are there too, and so it filters out. And really, what I think is fascinating in Google Plus is at least looking at the use of the tags and things like that. That's how you can maneuver into different groups and find yourself, if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to get into the music communities on Google+, all you do is tag a couple of posts, and I bet you'll end up in those streams and get more followers, and then you get more crossover. But yeah, my experience is that it's very fine-tuned to interests, which I think is cool, but it's also somewhat limiting. Like you have to go and find other interests, which can be a little challenging. So, but anyway, thanks Jason M for that email. So it was a good way to position it.
Absolutely.
So, on to the apps. Got him. Got Chad sleeping.
The latest chapter of the Falcon Pro drama.
Yes.
The news is in. Okay, so let's just recap real quickly. Falcon Pro is the Twitter client on Android that keeps hitting Twitter's relatively new ceiling for tokens, or user tokens, 100,000 user tokens. Falcon Pro hit that limit, which Twitter just recently enforced. So what it did was it just created a whole new set of tokens, and then users, gobbled it up and hit that limit. And now Falcon's pulled itself from the Play Store. I think it tried that 3 times, and on the 3rd time, when they hit their limit like overnight, they pulled the app from the Play Store. This harkens back to our earlier discussion about installing stuff outside the Play Store. And they've made Falcon Pro now available on getfalconpro.com, and they've implemented a kind of interesting workaround for this whole token business. So if you download the app and you install it and you don't get one of the 100,000 user tokens, there's a trick to sort of work around this. If you go to the login screen and you tap all 4 corners, and then you
3 corners.
Tap 3 corners, and then tap the orange one on the bottom left, and then to turn it back off, and then you shake your phone really, really hard, until it says custom login unlocked. You tap custom login, and then you can go to Twitter and you can create your own personal app key, consumer key in secret, right? Which is something that only really developers Twitter only meant for developers to have to do this. And then you can enter those into Falcon Pro, and then you can grant yourself one user token for this new set of app keys, and you can use Falcon Pro. Yes.
So I have my own app, OMG phone, that I am now developing for myself. You can see that I am an app developer, guys.
Did you really register an LLC called OMG Chad LLC?
Yeah. You can ask Twitter.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So this is really interesting, actually, for a lot of reasons. First of all, Falcon is so clearly absolutely violating Twitter's the Twitter developers rules of the road. I actually looked them up, and in one of the first sections, Twitter says, in order to ensure visibility and enforcement of rules, you may not use multiple application keys for the same use case. And this is what Falcon Pro is saying. Hey, make your own application keys, and then you can definitely use Falcon Pro. I think it's interesting that they made you go through that whole rigmarole of tapping the buttons and shaking your phone and doing a dance.
Yeah.
In order to do this. I think it's interesting also that they pulled the app from the Play Store. I think that they did that preemptively, concerned that Twitter would ask Google to pull the app from the Play Store because it was violating the terms of service. So I guess I found this interesting. I'm kind of watching this closely because my own app uses Twitter keys. It's not a client, which are the only kinds of apps that Twitter is limiting purportedly. But this is kind of interesting workaround. I don't know if Twitter could possibly stop this because Twitter doesn't know that OMG Chat LLC is just one guy just wanting to use Falcon, right? So there's no way that they can kind of en masse shut down all these application keys that individual users are making if they all have unique names and there's no other signature that Falcon is sending Twitter saying, hey, this is a Falcon user. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens here.
Yeah.
Just letting you know you could do this, and there's this workaround now, and I want to see what happens. I want to see how Twitter responds to this. So I think Twitter is going to respond to this.
My question is, how many people are actually going to do this? Right? I mean, I don't know. I don't use Twitter that much, to be honest with you. I post stuff on Twitter, but that's just for everybody else that uses Twitter. Mm-hmm. So I don't use Twitter that much. So for you guys, is the average user? We talk about users that are in the know and versus your common user all the time. So is the common user going to know to go through this process and do this? I mean, it seems
Falcon Pro is particularly marketed toward a very tech savvy group. They're the people who watch this show. They're Chad, you like Falcon Pro, right?
Love it.
I think they're a pretty savvy group. They've been through this token problem a few times now, if they're active users, so they know that it's a problem. And I think that those folks are sort of passionate about the app and want to use the app and will look up these instructions. And I think these are the people who are going to tap, allow installations from unknown sources as well. I think that Falcon has a very a very tech savvy user base. Mm. So I think that they're sort of unique in that way. I think for the average user, the stock Twitter, the official Twitter app is totally fine on Android.
Well, and it's also probably, I think there's also probably a certain tilting at windmills kind of thing that's happened now where Falcon Pro has come up against this limit and now they want to do everything they can to get around it because clearly there's demand. Right. We all knew when this API limit came out that people would run into this wall. This was inevitable. Mm-hmm. I use Falcon Pro. I love it. I don't know if I'd go through that to use it. Yeah. I think the Twitter client app is fine. Falcon Pro hasn't enriched my life to the point where I can't live without it. I like it a lot. But I think you get some momentum once you hit an obstacle, and I think they're kind of really embracing this obstacle.
Yeah, totally.
It's sticking it to the man. It's totally sticking it to the man.
And they're kind of in a position to trailblaze to a certain degree because they're one of the higher profile, at least on Android, examples of what you do when this happens to your app. That could be the downfall, though, because as you say, Gina, right now there might not be much that Twitter can do to battle this because of the way that they enable you to create a new access into it. But if this works for Falcon Pro, then all the other Twitter apps that end up going into running into this restriction end up doing the same because it worked for Falcon Pro, and everybody's doing it. Then Twitter removes that out entirely and says, well, you know what, we're just not going to do this anymore because nobody's sticking to the rules. And then they all go away. I don't know.
So in the end, who's the loser here? Is it Twitter? Is it Falcon Pro? Or is it the user?
It's Falcon Pro.
Falcon Pro.
I don't think Falcon Pro adds any functionality that the user is suffering. It's just another way to use Twitter. I mean, I love Falcon Pro, and I'm pro Falcon Pro. I think they're the loser here. I mean, that's what happens is that they're trying to innovate in a space that Twitter is trying to lock down and control the experience. I mean, as our next story is about the Twitter app, but I think if Falcon Pro went away tomorrow, you don't get people stop using Twitter. So that's why I think Falcon Pro loses.
Yeah.
Right. So
totally.
That said, interesting segue. Speaking of the Twitter app, I saw some grousing online as the new version of the Twitter app rolled out across various platforms. Over on the Android side of things, the official Twitter app now supports DM sync, which for any of you who get direct messages and use TweetDeck or any other apps, it's going to be great to not be told that you have unread DMs when you've read them before. So DM sync is a great little thing to add in.
It's one of those things is like, wow, it took that long.
I know. Yeah, tell me about it. And then on top of that, they've got improved search results, improved search experience. Now you can get user avatars in search results. You can expand to see the user bios. You can do a quick swipe to the left, and they'll see other similar users based on that search result. So a little easier to search within the official Twitter app. So if you can't get into Falcon Pro, check it out. You might like it because Twitter sure wants you to like it.
They really do.
Baffling.
Really do.
Yep.
There's a new collection in the Google Play Store. Google puts together these kind of seasonal collections, and this one caught my eye. It's Beautiful Design Summer 2013 collection. It's a pretty small collection of 11 apps that the Android design team chose, and they say truly beautifully designed apps are created with an attention to the smallest details. Transitions are fast and clear. Layout and typography are crisp and meaningful. In this collection, we highlight beautiful apps with masterfully crafted interfaces where form and function combine to deliver a superior experience. We got 11 apps here, and my dear co-hosts, we have featured many, but not all of these in the arena in the past. I checked. But yeah, there are some indeed beautiful apps here. Pinterest, Flipboard, TED, Pattern, Pocket, Expedia Hotels. We talked about a couple of episodes ago, and then a couple that I hadn't heard before. Timer, Press, and RSS Reader. So it's kind of interesting to see, what apps they focused on here. Not all of these necessarily adhere directly to the Android design guidelines. Not all of them are like perfectly hollow. Many of them are innovative and have like, I guess what you call non-standard Android interfaces, but I think that this is the way. I think this is the Android design team's way of saying, hey, like our guidelines are a suggestion, but you should also sort of be creative and make beautiful interfaces. I was kind of surprised that New York Times for Android was listed here because I stopped using it a while ago, but I remember thinking that the iOS New York Times app, or at least for a long time, the iOS New York Times app was way superior to the Android version, but apparently it's gotten better. It looks like the screenshots are a little better. But yeah, some nice apps here.
Excellent.
So as the color man of the show, can I ask, going back to an earlier discussion we had, I wonder how many of those apps are tablet optimized. I bet a lot lot of them are.
Yeah,
and I'm guessing that one of the reasons they were chosen is because they look good on a tablet. What do you guys think?
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I've only used a few of those apps, but I think the ones that I have used are definitely, I mean, they even show like they're purported to run beautifully on the Nexus 7 as well as on the phone. And I'm guessing that that's one of the considerations of why they're not saying it should have been, but I'm thinking it probably was why they were chosen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all, considering what the priority is and what we heard at I.O.
Yeah, I mean, many of these feature like really high-res, big images, multimedia experiences that you kind of navigate through. So yeah, I think that tablet compatibility was definitely a factor here.
All right, let's. This is kind of a double whammy. Well, not whammy. Double twofer. There we go.
It can be a whammy.
Yeah,
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Yeah.
All right, cool. Double whammy. First of all, we have a voicemail. Johnny calling about camera apps and quality.
Hey guys, this is Johnny calling from LA. I had a question about camera apps on stock Android. I'm a Nexus 4 user, and I've been seeing a lot of noise about the new Google Play editions of the HTC One and Samsung Galaxy S4. And, whenever I read about it, a lot of people say that the manufacturer camera apps are actually better than Google's first-party app. So I was wondering if you guys had any insight on, if you get a third-party camera app from the Play Store, like Camera Zoom FX or Camera MX, if that actually is a completely separate camera app from Google's, or if it's just, a different skin over effectively the same camera app that ships with the Nexus devices. So, I guess I'm just wondering if I get a third-party app, if that can improve the camera quality of my Nexus 4, or if it just adds some features to, the same system-level camera. So, yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
So then we got an email, and I thought this was kind of an interesting combo of events here. Kyle wrote in, very long email, but I'm going to kind of cut it down a little bit. I just wanted to let you know a little secret that I think would be awesome for you guys to share with the community. I downloaded the new stock Google camera APK. So this is actually, just before I get into this, reverse of what you're talking about, Johnny, but it kind of addresses what you're talking about here. Downloaded the stock Google camera APK from Droid Life, installed it on my Max HD. The camera is 1,000 times better than the Moto camera app. And he does these side-by-side pictures, right? So if you pull up that first link, Chad, that's the Moto cam. And you can see it's got a red tint. It's kind of hard to see. Then you pull up the second one, the Google cam, same camera, completely different, a little bit more natural lighting. It's hard to see because it's just a dark picture in general. But the first one, I think, is noticeably worse than the second one. Just kind of has a little smearing to it and everything. Then the second set of links, the first one of those, Moto Cam, if you zoom in a little bit on that, you see what I see in a lot of Moto Cams, which is a real graininess to their processing, right? Go into the second cam, which is from Google Cam. Of course, it did something differently. I guess he said that the Moto Cam software had a hard time determining what to kind of balance to, and the Google Cam gave him what he was looking for, which was the screen, which things just ended up being a lot clearer. If you zoom in on that, you don't see the graininess. So I think this is just one way of kind of demonstrating that all camera apps are not created equal, right? The software in this case on a Moto camera, and I'm not surprised at all to see the differences here, is so hyper processed on the back end by the smart people at Motorola that think that they're improving the quality of the camera. Turns out in many cases that unprocessed, pristine version of that picture might end up looking better. I've seen so many Motorola cameras, Motorola phones, where the pictures just have this intense graininess to it. And this kind of points out that graininess isn't necessarily there if you remove that kind of proprietary processing that they're doing in their software. Now, what you're talking about is kind of going the other way, right? You've got the stock camera on the Nexus 4, and you're wondering if you get the Google edition, is the camera going to act differently? There are side-by-side comparisons that people have done versus the Google edition of the HTC One versus the standard version with the HTC Sense kind of camera app ability on it there as well. And there's definitely software processing that's happening there. Whether it's better or worse, I think that's kind of subjective. But I think I do believe that if you get the Google edition, Gina, correct me if I'm wrong, you kind of lose out on some of that processing that might make, depending on how you feel about the quality of those pictures, better.
I have a similar issue. I mean, I noticed the same thing because I've got a AT&T Galaxy S4. And I've taken the TouchWiz off of it and put Google Edition completely on it. So I got the Google camera, which is great, but I do notice a difference from the Samsung stock camera. And on the forums on XDA developers, a lot of people are like, hey, is there any way we can get the TouchWiz camera back because it takes better pictures, blah, blah, blah. Same exact hardware, just a different app, and it understands the hardware maybe a little bit better because Samsung developed the phone. So, I mean, I've kind of got the Google camera is fine for me. I haven't really noticed a problem, but there are a few features on the Samsung camera app that are a little bit better. So, so I agree completely with what you're saying, Jason. I think that's absolutely right. And there's other camera apps you can try too. I mean, you don't have to get the Google one. You can do, HDR if you want HDR. There's the HDR camera app and, all kinds of them, paper camera. So, I mean, you're going to find that the difference is really in the software, though. And the manufacturer may know a little bit more about the sensors and what's included, but, different software is going to be tuned for different things.
Because you also got to think that the Google camera app is made to work with many cameras, so the variations in the sensor and the lenses and stuff like that also,
Maybe doing some averaging so that it looks good on a lot of different devices.
Exactly. Yeah, consistent.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to do some tests when I get my Google Edition HD one. Leo showed me TrickDroid, which is a way to kind of switch between the Sense and the. I'm going to see if I can get both camera apps running on it, and I'll try a couple of pictures, the same pictures, and see if I get similar results. Awesome. Well, I'm sure that they'll be different. It'd be interesting to see if. I think most of the reviewers, like the Virgin stuff, said that the camera app was slightly better, like the HTC camera app was slightly better, but not so much that it was kind of earth shattering.
Yeah.
but I'm going to try it out myself.
And those are shipping out starting today, I think I saw. So you don't have much longer to wait.
Mine's in Kansas City. It'll be here on Friday. I'm very excited.
not that you're watching, not that you're refreshing constantly.
Yeah, not that I'm getting constant, alerts about where it is exactly or anything.
People don't realize Kansas City is a huge Android city. So no, just
well, they
got Google Fiber. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, I drove by it. I didn't stop, but I drove by it.
You get free fiber, and we get a distribution center.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Let's take a break and thank our other sponsor of today's episode, welcoming back 99 Designs. You guys are great. It's good to have you back on board. 99 Designs connects the world with great graphic designers, creating fast, affordable graphic designs. And here is how it works. You tell them, 99 Designs, what you need. Dozens of designers from their community submit quality designs. Those are created just for you, totally original. They pass along to the designers your feedback. That'll help them refine the designs that they're working on, and then you select and pay for your favorite. More than 200,000 graphic designers worldwide are available to work on your project. World-class customer support 24/7, complimentary design consultations with the SF design team for all of your branding needs, and 100% money-back guarantee. You can just do a number of things: logo design, web design, digital marketing, print marketing if you're looking to get things printed, product packaging, flyers, menus, apparel design, which we'll talk about in a second, mobile app design. You have a great idea for an app and you just aren't, design's not your thing. You can go to the 99 Designs community to create kind of the graphic design of your app and make it stand out amongst the sea of other apps that are designed well as well. Make yours pop and be seen. Now, we used 99 Designs here at Twit to commission Twit logo designs for a marketing product, and I happen to be wearing it actually. There it is. That was a picture. This is just total coincidence that I wore this today.
Well, not only that, but if we have a camera in the control room, look at Chad.
What are you doing?
Yep.
Get down. Don't cut to your camera with the same shirt. Okay,
Sorry.
Fine.
Aaron, Gina, and I all would have worn our Twitch shirts.
That's
right. If we had one.
Except
we'll talk. We'll talk.
Said trombone.
I know somebody.
Yeah, we know somebody. We might be able to get some.
We know somebody here. So anyways, we were super happy with it, and people have been very happy with the design that we have on the shirt. I've seen a lot of pictures from people sending it in to us and saying, hey, look what just arrived in the mail.
That's
super
awesome.
Stoked about it. So there you go. So here's what you can do. You can start right now for as low as $199 for your own custom graphic design. Just visit 99designs.com/AAA. You'll get a $99 power pack of services for free. That actually gives you more designer time. 99 Designs will actually bold, highlight, and feature your design project in the marketplace, and you'll get nearly twice as many designs that way as well. You can also call 800-513-1678, designated for Twit listeners. That's 800-513-1678. Again, 800-513-1678, or visit 99designs.com/AAA today and kick off your design project. I think you'll be very, very happy that you did. We thank 99 Designs for their support of All About Android and Twit. You guys are great. Thank you for the awesome shirt. Also, the design. Love it. All right, let's get into the arena.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
Wow. Okay, last week we had, let's see here, Battle Cats, Despicable Me, and Jones on Fire. It was an all-game edition.
Wow.
And Despicable Me, the franchise game.
I wouldn't think the
on
license
top.
one would have.
I know.
Yeah. I do have to say, I've never seen a Despicable Me movie, and I'm dying to after seeing the trailer for the new one. And they've got the little minion blimp flying around San Francisco recently, and I'm all about it. I have no idea what it's about.
We have a movie night every Friday or Saturday night at home with my 3.5-year-old, and last week I was dead set on finding it streaming, the first one.
Yeah.
Streaming.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah, I wanted Netflix instant
Oh,
streaming.
you don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wanted to already be paying for it, and I couldn't find it. So now I think this week I'm going to do it. I'm just going to rent it on like.
It's a rental on Amazon. I looked. Yeah,
So
I went to go
so
because
good.
I looked for the streaming version of it, but I saw you had to pay, so I watched Real Genius instead.
I'm not surprised at one actually. I mean, my kids love that app. They play it and play it and play it.
That game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, they love it. So I'm not surprised at
I
one.
won completely on the heels of a beloved movie that was opening last week. I mean, the
Don't be
the second
ashamed.
one was
That's
opening
fine.
last
Yeah, no
weekend.
problem.
So I'll admit to it.
They
I was
cleverly market that
shameless.
movie at the movie theater. There's a whole Whack-A-Minion game, like display.
Totally.
Yeah,
like,
they
it's
have
just
really good
yeah,
marketing.
Like
You're
they're
right.
really good marketing.
Great
Good
marketing.
stuff.
Yeah.
And besides those little guys with the eyes, they crack me up.
The
I don't
minions
know
are
what they are.
the best.
What are
They're
they?
awesome. Oh,
They're like those little
awesome.
Mario
You gotta see
pills.
them.
That's what I always
You gotta
think of from Dr. Mario.
Yeah.
That's what they remind me of is Dr. Mario pills. I'm
That's
like, oh,
funny.
look, it's the Dr. Mario pills.
I wish I had remembered. I saw on Google Plus a couple of days ago, someone took their little Android figurine from a previous
and
IO
painted it?
and painted it up and made it into a minion, and it's surprising how well
Oh, wow.
it works.
That's awesome.
It
Very
works.
cool.
I saw a Minecraft skin.
Oh,
That was
Chad.
Despicable Me.
Oh man.
His ears just perked up. They went. Whip. He's like, all right, this joke is getting really old. You guys."
Oh no! And I will hold on to it for a long time. Just gonna
All right,
milk
Chad,
it.
I will save you.
Okay.
I will save you from Ron's wrath.
Woo!
And talk about my game because I lost. Oh, by the way, yeah, I lost pretty hard. Jones on Fire, 13%. Battle Cats, 39%. Despicable Me, 48%.
Don't call attention to the losing. Just move on.
Well, you know,
Showbiz.
always
On to the next one.
I always
no
reveal
losers.
everything.
Yeah.
As far as that's concerned. All right, so my game is, well, it's another game, obviously. And I seem to like a little bit of that retro feel to the games. It's just the kind of game that holds my attention. I also used to be a big Arkanoid fan.
Oh, I love
me
it.
too.
And this is a great kind of rendition of it. It's called Retroid. It actually just released. And so I think it has right now, what is it, between 50 and 100 installs right now. It's free. And I have it loaded up on the tablet here. Hopefully you have some volume come through here. I'll go ahead and go into this level here. It's a little bit more challenging. So if you haven't played Arkanoid, it's your kind of your brick buster game with a little paddle down at the bottom and a ball that bounces around to explode bricks. Different bricks contain different power-ups and everything. Apparently it's taking a long time to load. It wasn't earlier. But at least you
we
get
can
the
jam
music.
out. We can jam out to the music. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Very retro.
Did it just crash on me? Or is it just...
It's a live demo. But see, Chad's ready with the backup
Should
video.
it be spinning?
no.
Close.
Here.
Ooh.
Walk with... Yo.
Oh, you're so crashed.
Oh, yeah. It's so crashed.
Oh, you're bricked. Oh, that's super. It was a super crash.
Well, hey, it just launched, all right? It's got a lot... Hey, I've got it on my phone.
And you had
So,
MHN.
Chad,
MHN.
how about you take...
MHL.
Yeah. I'll do it on my phone here.
Cool.
Ready,
Do it live.
Ready
Do it
phone.
live.
Ready phone. Take phone.
All right, so now I'm launching it here, and I've got these. Get rid of those. There we go. All right, so here it is. Retroid. Getting ready here. Let's see how fast we can catch up to where I was
audio.
in the tablet.
Oh, you're way behind.
Thank you.
It's
Do a little
loading.
audio. Better not do the same exact thing.
There you go.
All right, so you touch the screen to start, and here I go. Moving the paddle. It's got nice little sound effects.
That's a cool game.
Yeah, and it's got these little power-ups, so some of them you really don't want to get. I think that one actually makes it go a lot faster or something. And
And you just got it.
Oh, no, this is a different one then. Okay, I can deal with that one. Obviously, the
there's the
snail
snail.
is a little bit slower. And the different levels, I mean, this is kind of an earlier level. I got a little bit further on my tablet.
Do you have blasters? Do you have blasters?
Oh, you got the
No,
lasers
you don't
in
Yeah,
there?
I love the lasers.
I haven't found those. If you do have those, I've been trying to get them. But I think the way the touchscreen control works is it would be kind of hard to
Yeah,
blast
that's
and
true.
move it at the same time.
That's true.
But anyways, I mean, what more is there to say? There's a ton of levels, and it actually takes quite a while to kind of get through these levels. So you've got a lot of playing ahead of you.
Can
They
you
say they're-
extend the thing? Can you make it wider?
Yep, you can make it
Oh,
wider. It
that's
gets
so
wider.
cool.
It gets
Can
shorter.
you hit the
I've
plume
got floating
icon?
notifications on there. That's from an app in a little bit, so disregard. That's
That'd
not
be
part of
cool
the
if there
game.
was a game like Arkanoid, but you hit your notifications. Right?
Very nice. Oh,
That'd be kind of cool.
by the way, my tablet crashed hard. It just totally rebooted.
It's super
Oh,
crashed.
wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's Retroid. It's pretty straightforward. It's a new game, so pardon it if it doesn't work perfectly on all devices right out of the gate. But I think it's pretty, well designed as a game. It's definitely a lot of fun. It has a lot of, you can see in the video here, a lot of kind of interesting little kind of
cool, like
tricky
gravity
things
stuff.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
that really play
Black
with
holes.
it as well.
Oh wow, this is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's a lot of fun.
You
I
ever
love
playing
Arkanoids.
Arkanoid in the arcade with the dial.
Oh,
yeah. We're old.
Yeah, we are old. Yeah, we're old. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, us for being old. So there you
proud of
go.
Who was born in the 70s? Raise your hand.
Oh yeah.
Not Chad.
Hey Chad, raise it. Oh, wait a minute. No.
Chad, were you even
now
born in
we
the 80s?
feel-
It just got into the 80s.
Just made it.
Jeez.
Just made it in the 80s.
Man.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, there you go. Breakout clone called Retroid. I like it.
All right. Well, I'm
All feels
back.
kind of Retroid now.
I'm
Sorry,
back.
Ron.
It's all right. I'm back in the arena, and as we were talking about before the show started, I was talking to Gina, saying I was looking for my app for the arena, and I saw this. And I said, "Oh yes, I'm going to choose this one." And ironic, after our conversation about Falcon Pro and the official Twitter client, I have chosen a Twitter client. But you'll see why I've chosen this Twitter client, and it's called Tweel. All right, and it's one of those lucrative, rare Google Play Store ones that only has 100 to 500 installs. So everyone, I'm hoping you try it out. It's 99 cents in the Google Play Store. And here, I'll load it up and I'll just show you, and you'll immediately understand why I chose it. So it is this bizarre wheel infographic version of your Twitter timeline, right?
It's like a peacock.
Yeah, so what happens is that you can scroll around your timeline visually down this spiral, and that's how you get through the different tweets. And so here I can click on an Ohm tweet, and once you click on one, it goes black, and it shows you the tweet up here, and then it also gives you any specific statistics, how many retweets, when it was posted, all that sort of stuff. You can do your standard kind of things here where you can reply, or you can retweet, or you can favorite. But what's interesting is down here in the spiral, you see how most of these are either clear or orange. The clear ones are ones I've read. The orange ones are ones I haven't read. But you see this Mashable one where the orange goes about halfway. That's because that has a lot of retweet velocity. If you notice, that's had 49 retweets. So it's giving you a visual representation of what's been retweeted a lot. So I can look at this one here by Simon Pegg, and this one got 85 retweets. And so it's got a smaller bar that's filled in. It also shows you how many new tweets you have, so I can refresh my my timeline, and it will refresh the spiral. And this is just crazy. That's why I love it. And what's really interesting is that you can you can see things that are actively being retweeted, and it's a different way of interacting with Twitter to focus around discovery. So if I click on the little Twitter icon, it will actually clean up my little thing, but it will go into a menu. And here I can get to my lists, as well as I can get into what they are saying are pretty popular. Where was the one I wanted to look for? There we go. So in this one here, the top tech and business blogs of the world, I can open that channel up, similar to what Flipboard does with kind of curated boards. And so here, this is a whole tech section. So you can see here, there's TechCrunch and The Verge and things like that. Just a really unique, different way to interact with Twitter. You can easily you hit that Twitter button in the middle, and like I said, you can get to your lists. I can post from here, so I can go compose a new tweet. But it's really not about posting to Twitter. This is more about discovery and interacting with your Twitter stream. What's really interesting, I'm trying to find one that actually does this, and just bear with me for a moment. We'll go back to my home screen. The way it handles photos are really interesting. I'm trying to find somebody who posted a photo. I apologize if something inappropriate shows up. But the way it handles photos is kind of unique in that of course, now I can't find one.
Oh, Chad's got it.
There you go. Oh, yeah. So the photos just load there in the right-hand corner. So it's just a neat kind of an interesting design kind of approach to putting stuff in. You don't need to click on the link to see it. It just loads right there. Really fascinating. Really, really fascinating. So Tweel, it takes your timeline, turns into a spiral, helps you discover new content on Twitter, helps you find new people to follow, and easily visually identify what is getting popularity. So it's 99 cents in the Google Play Store. I believe it was developed on iOS first, and they ported it over to Android. It works really nicely, really smoothly, interacts with Twitter really nicely. Get it before the tokens run out. So,
and it's replaced your Twitter client of choice, and you're totally going to use Twitter like this all the time forever.
All the time.
Any chance the token limit will be reached with Tweel?
Well, there's only 100 to 500 installs on the Google Play Store, so I'm going to guess
get in early.
Get in early while you can. Come on, look at that! Look at that UI, that spinny wheel. That was it's great. It's crazy.
I love that they're really committed to the wheel too. That settings, everything is in the wheel.
Yeah, they're really committed to that. I mean, it's their whole. If they have a whole video, unfortunately, it's with an iPhone, but it's their whole. And they show you this video when you install the app. It says, "Listen, your timeline works as a spiral. All right." They're very committed to the spiral.
Genius.
But hey, I love infographics and I love different ways to show information. And honestly, I would never have thought to look at Twitter the way they've presented it this way. So
that's true.
That's kind of innovative in its own way.
It's novel.
Yeah. So there you go. Tweel. Go check it out. It's only 100 to 500 installs. So next week, let's get it up over 1,000. All right. That's my goal. That's my challenge to you. All right, Gina, take it away.
All right. I like Tweel. I also appreciate novelty.
Yeah.
My app doesn't really show that. My app this week, I chose an app called Floating Notifications, which does exactly what it sounds like it does. It turns your notifications into a floating UI, a UI that kind of hangs out over whatever app you're already using. So very similar to Facebook's chat heads. Ever since Facebook Home came out and chat heads, which is kind of the floating, your friends' faces kind of floating over whatever you're doing on your phone, there's all kinds of apps that have come out that have this kind of floating UI. There's control buttons that float over your screen, app launchers. But floating notifications is just that. It just does notifications. So what you do is you install floating notifications. You have to make a change to your Android system settings and accessibility to let floating notifications work. But what it gives you is per app floating notification. So you go into the settings and you go through your list of apps and you say, for me, for example, Google Voice, that's my main texting app. I want floating notifications for that. So I can tap that and say, yeah, give me Google Voice notifications, give me Twitter notifications, give me Hangout notifications. And you have a bunch of options for each as well. Let's see. Yeah, Jason, if you go into app notifications, for each app, you can say, when you show me this floating notification, show the extended text, stack messages from that app on top of one another, show me the action buttons, show me the app icon instead of notification icon. Tons of settings for each app to kind of turn on. And actually, in that screenshot, it's a little hard to see because the buttons are kind of dark on a dark background. But once you've got it configured, and you back out and you say, okay, yeah, these are the apps I want floating notifications for. You get little circles that kind of pop up on your screen that give you notifications. And Jason, I saw that you just tweeted out.
I know, and none are I've definitely got replies. So the problem was I had all of these floating notifications for my demo, so I removed them, and then now none of them. I'm not getting any. Oh, right, hey, I just got one. All
right, cool. So there you go. Nice, from Plume. So you'll see the notification is just a circle, very much like chat heads. It's a circle that you can drag and drop and place anywhere on your screen. It shows up over on top of whatever you're doing, even if you're playing a game or watching a video. So you can tap and drag to move it. If you can tap it once to expand it or contract it, or just launch, you can even just make it just an app launcher. So in that case, you can just launch Plume directly from it. It's just kind of a fun way to get notifications that you really care about kind of right on top of what you're doing. I set floating notifications up to act a lot like chat heads, but with the messaging apps that I use, right? So like Twitter, Hangouts, and Google Voice, I get floating notifications now, which is kind of nice. It's kind of like my own personal chat heads. Let's see, what else? A couple of things to keep in mind. First, there's a trial version of the app. It's a 30-day free trial. So if you decide to try this out, get the floating notifications trial. After the 30 days to unlock the pro version, it's about $1.97. The couple things to keep in mind with floating notifications, because an app can't dismiss another app's notifications, the notifications also show up in your shade. Okay, so if you get a floating notification, you still have to dismiss it from your shade, which kind of sucks. And this app, because it's running kind of on top of all your other screens, has some conflicts with other accessibility apps, and on some devices, check the Play Store page. definitely, I would say recommend trying the trial before you go pro in the unlocked version. But I'm using it on my Galaxy Nexus, which just kind of stock Android, and I really like it. It's a nice way to get the kind of notifications that are important to you, and in kind of a fun way, and tap them once to see them more quickly than having to swipe down the shade and scan a sort of boring list. I like the little circle UI. It's actually very well done. Jason, I think I pulled floating notifications out from under you. Have you been using it before today, or did you just set it up for the demo?
I had seen it, read about it. I'm not sure, like a couple of weeks ago maybe or something, and it was definitely on my short list of okay, I got to install that and play around with it a little bit. Maybe
it's on mine as well. Yeah, it was on mine as well too. So I'm sitting here gnashing my teeth because you totally swiped one. Good job.
Sorry about that.
First come, first serve.
There's themes. There are custom extensions. There's a lot of development that goes on around Flutter notifications. So if you do decide to install it, you can really kind of make it look exactly the way that you want. So try it out. Floating notifications, the trial version. You'll like. It's fun.
Love Facebook or hate Facebook. They really got something right when they did the whole chat heads thing, because I've seen a few different, like now you're starting to see these a little bit more where it was like, hey, that's a really interesting idea for, different aspects of Android, and it just kind of makes sense to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So let's see, I double click it.
There are several different apps that do this. I've seen like floating like control buttons for play, pause, on top of whatever you're watching. There's a couple different. The chat heads thing really just sort of spark a new UI paradigm. I think that's going to be around for a while. I just like the way the floating notifications handled it, because it's so customizable. Now you can put the buttons on the notification or not, and sort of move them around. And yeah, that's a pretty good app. I'm digging it.
All right. Well, we're running short on time. So, Aaron.
All right, I've got to go
show
quickly.
Us what you got.
So, do you guys like memes?
Yeah, memes are.
Who doesn't like memes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Memes.
Well, my app is about memes, and it's. I don't know if you are in the same situation I am. Like usually when I think of something I want to post a meme about, like I'm on the road or I'm at work or whatever. Like I'm not necessarily in front of my computer, but I do have my phone with me. So my app this week is. It's called Meme Generator, and this is an app. There's a lot of them out there. This one seems to be pretty popular. You can actually go in, create the meme on your phone, and then post it to wherever. That's basically how it works. But it's got some really nice features. This is the app here. You can see it, and you can see it's got a ton of apps. So like when you first open it up, you get all the apps. So all memes. And you can see as I scroll down, there's like a ton of memes. Yeah. One nice thing that this guy does, I'm assuming it's a guy, maybe it's a girl, who knows. One nice thing they do is that I get an update like a couple times a month. So as new memes get created on Reddit or whatever, they actually he adds them to the app right away. And so like when you see something, it'll be like a couple days, and then all of a sudden it'll appear on your phone. So some new thing that you want to get in on. And then the other cool thing is you can go to, he's got categories on here. So you can go to brand new memes, you can go to popular memes, see what people are posting. I'm not sure how these are tabulated, these results, but they're the popular memes that you might get. And then you can star the memes. You'll see here on the side, there's this little star thing. It's kind of hard to see on the video, but there's a star next to each one of those. And if you star it, then it goes into your favorite meme. So now I've got a list of all my favorite memes. So I have quick access to the ones that I want to do. And it works. The nice thing about it is it's really, really simple to create a meme. So you just tap on the meme that you want. It opens up that meme and it gives you the top text and bottom text, right? You just enter the top text, enter the bottom text, and you make it. So, and he also, when he uploads these, he has examples. Now I got to skip through these kind of quick because the first two are somewhat inappropriate. So, there we go. Hang on, one more. Okay, here we go. So here's the one I chose to show for the show. Sorry about that if I offend anybody. So this gives you kind of an example of how to use the meme if you're meme illiterate. And it's really funny. And then to post it, it's really, really simple. You just hit share, save, and you hit share, and it basically opens up Android's default things to share to, right? So that's another cool thing about the app is he didn't make his own interface for sharing. It's just all right here. I can hit Google+, put in my text here. We'll make this public so people can see it if you're watching the video. And you can go look this up under my profile on Google+. Just put cool, yay, share. There we go. So if I was to make up my own, you could share it that way as well. And he's got a little bit of a nag in here. That's because this app is free and it has ads and it has these little nags. If you don't mind that, then that's cool. If you do, you can go out and pay. There's a version of it. Oh, there it is right there. So there's a version of it for $1.99, which takes out the ads and takes out the nags. So that's it. That's the app. It's really cool, really easy to use. And if you're into memes, I would highly recommend downloading it and sharing your favorite memes with your friends.
That's cool.
Very cool.
This is another one of my favorites is the 1990s memes. It's pretty funny. It's just funny to go through here and read them.
I like the categorization of memes. It's almost the kind of thing that makes it uncool because if you can categorize them, they're not that cool. But the fact that you can make them is awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly. It's a lot of fun. I've used it on a number of occasions. It's just really easy, quick, and because you can share it with all of the sharing resources on your phone, you can share it out really easily. So go check it out. It's free.
Excellent. That is called Meme Generator. Generator. So we have Retroid. We have Tweel. That's TWHEEL. We have floating notifications and Meme Generator. Pick your favorite app from this week's show at aaapoll.com/117, AAApoll.com/117. Early reports are in. Meme Generator saying
shot to the top.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the one.
Nice.
People like their memes.
First time. Ah, very
telling
nice.
you, Tweel is going to have a long tail effect on this audience. I'm telling you. Yeah.
We'll revisit this poll in 2 years, and Tweel will be.
You'll be laughing when Twitter has purchased Tweel, and it is then the official app of Twitter. So there you go.
We thought we knew how to do Twitter, but then Tweel
then
came
we saw
along.
the Tweel. Spin the Tweel. There you
Take
go.
a ride on the Tweel.
Excellent. So vote. Please let us know which is your favorite, and we will announce the winner on next week's show. The winner will receive a pat on the back if they're lucky. Let's see here. Next week, we welcome back to the show. It's been a long time since we had Brady Forrest on the show. Brady's always a lot of fun. He's in the area, so he's probably going to stop by. Might join us by Skype. I think he's still deciding on that. But regardless,
I'm going to miss it, though, even if he
you're
shows
going to
up.
be out.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm going to be at the San Diego Comic-Con next week.
Brady will attempt to fill your shoes.
Yeah. You might find me in the background of Gina's Skype going, no, I don't want to go back there.
In a stormtrooper costume. Passed out.
It's going to be
a He-Man costume.
That will be
It's going to be Princess Leia.
Yeah. That will be the night before everything opens, so I'm going to be manic, so you don't want me on the show. So.
I still want to see you in a costume of some sort, so if that happens, send us a photo. We can at least.
I have a great. No, actually, no. I will be cosplaying this year. I have a great Minecraft costume.
Nice.
It's just actually a Chad. Chad in Minecraft. That's my costume this year.
Minecraft Chad.
Did you just say Minecraft?
I say Minecraft.
Is there a Chad skin for Minecraft, by the way?
Yeah.
Ooh,
of course there is.
I will be downloading
he's
that
actually
tonight.
searching it right now. Apparently there is.
I'm sure
I will
there
be
is.
downloading it tonight, Chad.
I kind of want to play Minecraft just to play with Chad in Minecraft, or play as Chad in Minecraft.
You can't even keep up with Chad.
See, there he is.
Oh, there it is.
So the question is, are you the only one who uses it, or do other people use it?
Anyone can download it because they're kind of public facing, so you can just point at the server.
I would be so impressed if your Minecraft avatar became like the V for Vendetta mask. Like it became the representing image of Minecraft. That's
someday.
That would be ridiculous.
Yep.
I think that's the goal of OMG Craft.
Right.
That right there.
To take over the Minecraft universe. The known Minecraft universe.
Aaron Newcomb, first of all, thank you so much for
Thanks
hopping
for having
on.
me. Good to be
Anytime
back.
we have you on the show, it's just always having you on the show. And,
always fun.
And it's always a pleasure. Where can people find you on Minecraft?
On Minecraft, you can find me at Aaron Newcomb. That is my tag on Minecraft. I've been playing Minecraft way too much lately, I have to admit. But normally you can find me on Google+. Just go to Google+, search for Aaron Newcomb in a Google search. You'll find me. Facebook, Twitter, I'm there as well. Tomorrow, I think I'm on Twig, so catch me on Twig tomorrow, and also Floss Weekly every other week or so. It seems like I'm on Floss Weekly. We're taking a little break right now, but Floss Weekly, Twig, All About Android. You can also find me in the Make blog, Make magazine. Cool. Posted a project that I worked on. So if you go to makezine.com/projects and scroll down, you'll find my Raspberry Pi Old Time Radio Project. I think they call it Raspberry Pi Time Machine. If you want to do a little research on how to make your own old time radio using Raspberry Pi.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, that was kind of fun.
Great.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Fantastic. Well, thanks once again. Definitely have you back soon, of course. Ron.
Yes.
Where can people find you?
You can find me at about.me/RonXO, where you can find my Twitter, my Google Plus, and my Facebook, and all the other fun stuff. And if you've been curious about where I've been for the past 2 weeks and why I look so tired, go to imagecomics.com, the brand new website of my company that I work for by day, the purveyor of fine comic books, where you can also now purchase DRM-free comics for your reading pleasure that you can read on Android. We've got PDF, EPUB, CBR, CBZ, more coming every day. We're releasing a whole bunch more tomorrow on New Comic Wednesday. So check out imagecomics.com. And that's not it. Stay tuned because there'll be more fun digital comics news coming out of Image while I'm there. So you know me. I'll keep it going. So
what?
Yep.
Nice.
Excellent.
The site looks great, Ron.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very proud of it.
I like the search box. Very
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I'm really proud. It's one of I've been doing. I mean, I've been managing website development since the '90s, and this is probably in my top 5 of my favorite projects that I worked on. And it came out like as we visioned it, and we didn't get a lot of changes midstream and stuff like that. There's still some bugs. We're still working it out, but the framework is there, and it's awesome. So.
Yeah, very cool.
Cool.
Fantastic. Congrats on the launch, especially.
Thank you. Yes.
Gina, what you been up to? What you got going on?
I co-host this week in Google, which is here on the Twit Network on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. Aaron will be on tomorrow, so you should join me and him and Jeff and Leo. Also, the open source Android app that I work on, To Do Text, the community there has just been on fire lately. If you go to blog.todotext.com, you can see we just released version 2.0 to the App Store. A lot of just kind of not nice UI updates, the hamburger in the action bar and the navigation drawer and swipe, pull to refresh and the kind of Gmail style rich toast and just a lot of really nice kind of modern updates. And we got tablet optimization coming out this week. So I'm really happy about that. I'm excited and learning a lot about modern Android design, or 4.2 Android design finally. That took a while. And otherwise, you can just find me at ginatrapani.org. That's where my site where I list everything else I'm up to. You can find my name on Twitter and Google Plus as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Gina. Chad, I hear that you have something to do with Minecraft.
I do. Well,
about 5 or 6 times.
It's Chad here, your friendly video switcher, and I just wanted to tell you that I do a show about Minecraft in the Minecraft universe. And you can also check out all the shows that I produce this week in Google, this week in Tech, and Mac Break Weekly. Thank you so much, Jason. Now back to you.
All the kids are playing Minecraft these days, or so they say on the Jersey Shore.
You had that.
Awesome.
You had that ready and waiting to push the button.
I love it.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Either that or that's just how you normally talk. There's always that music playing behind you, and I've just never noticed it before.
Of course, Jason. It's great.
Well, thank you, Chad, for that. That's great. You can find me at about.me/Jason Howell. I promise to have some news at yellowcoldmusic.com. I actually have some really cool news to announce here in the next I keep saying it, the next week or two, but I promise it'll happen. But that is it for this week, for this show. Thank you for joining us. Voicemails can be left at 347-SHOW-AAA. You can leave us an email or a video mail at AAA@twit.tv. You can find the show on Twitter. We are at Android Show. We are on Google Plus as All About Android, as well as a pretty awesome community there. Show notes can always be found at twit.tv/AAA, as well as past episodes. Find them there. Go to YouTube. You can go to iTunes. You can go to Pocket Casts if you're subscribed there, and they'll berate us when we do things wrong.
They'll berate you.
They'll berate me. Call me out. You can catch us live every Tuesday starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, live.twit.tv. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android.
Bye-bye.